Hello and welcome to the Monday night guest stream. We're happy to welcome our first returning guest, Justin Castaneda.
Hello. Here's my hand.
You may have heard us talking about babies a moment ago. That was just a bit of a glitch. So if you heard anything out of context that might have sounded worrying, it was just baby talk.
Yeah, just talking like babies. Goo goo gaga. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me back, Ricky and Adam. This is awesome. I'm glad I get to draw again. I haven't drawn in a while.
So
I'm preoccupied with the baby.
The only thing you've been drawing is drawing baths.
Yeah.
So Justin's come back on today to talk about his new Kickstarter for Two Hearts, a lovely colouring book. So do you want to tell everyone about it?
Yeah. So Two Hearts is my attempt at making a board book. I've always wanted to make a board book. And I thought Kickstarter would be a kind of fun way to do an independently published one. And it is using the characters from my first Kickstarter, Thump and LB. They're characters from my children's book, Heart. And the characters, I can kind of put them in anything. So I thought it'd be fun to put them in a counting book. And it's just like a really fun book about numbers and love and friendship. And I launched the Kickstarter on the 2nd of August, and then we got funded in under 7 hours. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm using the rest of the month to help promote it, and hopefully we can unlock that board book upgrade. So the initial goal was met, which guarantees a print copy of the book, but not necessarily a board book version, because that costs a little more in terms of printing. So the stretch goal is to unlock the board book upgrade. And this afternoon we actually unlocked the first stretch goal, which is a bonus book. You get a coloring book that I did last year during quarantine. So I'm going to put that out as like a physical copy. And it's going to have some bonus pages. So you get 2 books for the price of 1 Kickstarter.
Cool. So I just on the page now. I've put the link. If anyone wants to back Justin's Kickstarter, the link is in the chat right now. And I'll pop it up throughout the show. But I'm just looking now, and you're at about 300%. So, are you close to getting your board pages?
So it's less than $2,000 to get the board book upgrade, but we already reached the halfway point with the 1,500. So yeah, it's just another little step, and I feel like we'll be able to hit it because we're so close, and it's only been it's already the second week, so we have like a good solid rest of the month to get there. And yeah, I'm just kind of letting it coast. I didn't. You know how everyone kind of posts every day about their Kickstarter. I'm doing it as often as I'm allowed. And whenever we reach certain milestones, like this afternoon when we reached 1,500, which was the coloring book unlock. So yeah, it's going well, and I think the momentum will carry through. And there's some really good rewards too. Like there's you can get a physical commission from me, a cardboard commission, and you can get a digital numbers commission, which is like if you know any kids, or if you have kids of your own, or if you want me to draw you and your favorite number. It's kind of like a cool like Sesame Street kind of thing. Yeah. And I have it's like kind of drawn in the style of the book. So like here's the first 3 pages. It has a number, and it kind of describes what's going on in here. So then the numbers commission. Let me pull that up. I don't want to show you all of my iPad. I got secret stuff on here. Let's see. So yeah, like the numbers commission would be this fun. What is it? Yeah. So it'd be like if you have a favorite thing and a favorite number, I would kind of combine the two. So here I drew my friend's daughter, and she loves twinkling stars, and her favorite number is 7. And this is a digital commission, so you could get that sent to your email, so no shipping required. But yeah, this is one of the perks. You can also get a physical copy of Heart, the first book, as well as stickers and stuff. So yeah, it's just all fun stuff. So hopefully you're into it, and you can get some overseas backers, because I'll ship it anywhere.
Kids love those personalizations. I think they like to see themselves in books and things. So I think it's quite
for sure.
It's not very expensive either. I think it's quite a cute little thing.
Thank you. So plenty of rewards to add on to your physical copy of Two Hearts.
So like I did check when you sent me the preview one, and I gotta say the video is great as well. The intro video that you've done.
Thank you. I like to infuse a little comedy in there, and Thump, he's kind of a wily character, so he likes to have fun with the camera.
It was really really fun just to watch. It was something different to what you'd expect. So like obviously because you're aiming for the adult, a child's book, but you're aiming the advertisement as hey Stuart, can you sorry, we're streaming at the moment, can you hang up? You could catch us on Twitch. And you can you would aim in, it's a kid's book, but the people who need to support you are adults, so like it was that nice balancing act of it was still wholesome, but it was like funny for adults as well. So
thank you. Yeah, that's usually my goal with my children's content, or my kid friendly content. I like to aim it towards kids, but really it's an all ages property. And so I like, especially like with my When I Was Little picture book series, and Wonder Care, the comic I co-create with Victor Dandridge. We aim it for all ages, but there is a childlike sort of wonder to everything. And it just kind of helps me develop my range more too. So the fact that I can do all ages stuff, and then I can bring that audience over and be like, here's a horror book at the same time. So that's kind of the appeal, I guess, with some of the things I make, as well as like the videos and like the different kinds of comics that I dive into.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, you can't, if you don't appeal to the parents, then you're not going, people are just going to either pass it by or just grab it and not really connect with it as much. If you connect to everybody, then everyone's going to enjoy it. I know that sounds like such an obvious thing to say, but sometimes people forget that that it's not just, I'm just going to buy this for the kids and just leave them at it. If you sell it to everybody, then everyone gets interested.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I know there are some creative people out there who know what their audience is, and they like to zero in on, like, I make this specifically for this kind of core demographic, whereas I kind of like to spread it around, and I make stuff that's all ages because I want my viewership and my followers and people who are fans of my art to be all ages as well. So like, I'll have a dad or a mom come up to the table, and they'll pick up heart for themselves, but then they'll pick up like a cardboard sketch of like Lethal Weapon, So it ranges, but anyways, yeah.
So,
I'm flicking through the rewards and whatnot as we speak.
as
For
I
sure,
said,
yeah. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I can pull up I put that away, and I can have my pad open just in case anybody wants. I thought we'd do it a little differently today. So instead of the watercolor, I have a nice Bristol pad, and I have a variety of different media. So maybe we can fill the page within the next 45 minutes to an hour.
I'm trying to hold my tongue with. I don't want to be the first person to throw suggestions or requests. I want to wait and
It's all
see
good.
what people say.
But yeah, if you guys got any questions about the campaign or art stuff, let me know. And if you guys got some requests lined up, I'll start attacking those as well.
Okay, so hi Aldiabito in the chat. Do you have a suggestion, a request for Justin to draw?
Yeah, and I think I'll do like a bunch of like a variety of headshots, so it's a nice sort of collection. At least that's the goal, and the way I envisioned it in my head.
Oh,
I'm sure we'll be able to fill them up.
There we go. Our first request is Finn and Jake from Adventure Time.
Oh,
Nice.
Perfect. Very cool. All right.
It was by my poster by here. I can't.
It's just off screen, Adam. You can see Jake's butt.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, you've just had a baby. So, is this like, was this on the cards before?
The baby.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Was
Baby
it
on
something?
the cards?
No. Was it
baby
like
playing cards?
Was the counting book
Okay, yeah.
that you had planned before your partner got pregnant, or was it something inspired by the pregnancy?
I think so. I actually did the Two Hearts was originally a Patreon digital release only, and I did it during quarantine because I needed something to do, and she was pregnant at the time, and the counting book actually came from another idea, but then I just adapted it to the Hearts characters, and so that other counting book kind of went away for a little bit, and then because I was like, I need to do something like familiar rather than like sit here in quarantine and try to come up with a whole new thing, because I feel like I would have, without access of like conventions or like having a consistent contact with my creative friends, and like face to face, sort of one-on-one interaction, I felt like it wouldn't have come together. So adapting an other idea I had to the Hearts characters is how I got to Two Hearts, and it was during when my wife was pregnant. So kind of inspired and kind of not. Like I already had the idea, but it was a matter of adapting it to this other idea.
Yeah, totally understand that. I just, because like when I thought like we were locked in our houses, I thought I'm gonna get so much done, but not having human interaction really just depleted me for creativity.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I can see that. I understand that like 100%.
We've known. I mean, me and Ricky have met up quite regularly for years on end now, and
Nice.
it was strange not having to do that, not being able to do that. Just at the beginning of I don't know if we mentioned last time, just before lockdown, we were learning to skateboard as two guys in our mid-30s decided
Late 30s.
late 30s for Ricky. Decided it would be a good idea, just meet up in an industrial estate somewhere where nobody can watch us fall over.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and it was coming on quite nicely, and then I think Ricky, it was almost like breaking up. We were in the middle of nowhere at like 8 o'clock in the
Oh,
evening, and Ricky went, "I don't think we can meet up anymore." And I was like, "What?
oh,
Is it not
dang.
now?" And I was like, "Oh yes,
Because
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
yeah, it was that thing of we were
we're back
sat.
together now."
Yeah, we were sat
Yay.
in a car park in the rain. I think I'd fallen and couldn't get up. um, and it was that thing of like everything had kind of started locking down, so that we probably shouldn't have been doing it. And it was like, yeah,
We
I
were out in the
don't think
open. We weren't like in each other's faces or anything like
no,
that.
but
So
Right,
it was
right.
like in March last year, and it was like a scene from a bad
A
rom com.
romantic comedy.
yeah, it was not comedy. It's all
Oh,
heartbreak.
that's too funny. I mean, that's a pretty good premise for, like a skateboarding rom-com.
Yeah.
You guys should write that.
Two middle-aged
You,
men.
yeah, you've
Yeah.
already said that now it's already existed. It's already probably been greenlit on Hulu or Amazon or something like that now.
But
No, yeah, we I don't know. I think it's that's why we've been doing this because uh, I I guess it's the same with you. We can't not be not doing anything. Like today was my first day off. I've got a
Oh,
week
wow.
off, and I've just spent the day watching music videos and playing Suikoden and or Suikoden, and I don't know what to do with myself. I fell asleep for a little while earlier, and I don't like doing that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you can only binge so much of one thing,
yes,
and then you're like, okay, and then it's like, do you want to start another thing, or, or it's like, no, I want to go outside, I want to do stuff, but,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's hard. So, yeah, that's kind of uh, where Two Hearts kind of came from, because I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere, like convention-wise. I wasn't going to go anywhere and be creative, so
Mm, mm.
I had to figure out a way to be creative and yet still have people who like my stuff see it. And so Two Hearts kind of was birthed from that, and it was like, oh, I'm going to do it as a Patreon exclusive. Now, granted, I don't have that many Patreons, and that is also the pandemic's fault because right, I launched my let's put Jake up here. I launched my Patreon the weekend of C2E2, the big comic show in Chicago, and that was the only show I got to do before everything shut down. And I was like, and I had printed out all these flyers for when I was going to go out on the road to promote my Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I printed out like 1,000 flyers. I was like, oh, I'll just hand these out at conventions this year, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah, I've still got buttloads of our posters. It was probably I make the posters for our group, and
Nice.
not for Ricky it isn't because his laptop usually catches fire by the end because we were using Pages,
Yeah.
and instead because we didn't have Photoshop, and it's good. It really is good, but I think we nearly run out of ideas using that thing, and the poster just involved like thousands and thousands of circles amongst other things. And I've got all the. So it took us both like a month maybe to make the poster, and now
Oh,
I've got
wow.
hundreds of flyers and posters that we just can't use anymore. They're just still sitting in my living room and my bedroom. Should be
Yeah.
recycled.
There's one shop in Swansea that's still got it up. Well, it did still have it up until like I last saw it about 2 weeks ago, and it was like, oh, I remember when we were gonna have a convention.
What
Right?
shop was
It's the heist on the high
that? Oh yeah,
street. It's like a pub,
I
so
thought it was
like
called the Hist.
uh it's like a pub, so like they've obviously
Oh,
not
nice.
been allowed to have anything in there for over a year, so the poster's just there in the window looking at me every time I walk past there.
Dang.
But
I love pubs.
We
Just random fact about me.
no, we like them too. We done all of our best writing at pubs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nothing
Um,
like going to a place, having a pint, and even when you're, it's especially better when you're with someone like a partner, like a creative partner, and just kind of shooting the shit and thinking and writing down ideas. Like that's the stuff I was missing throughout quarantine. And you know, thankfully I was a little more proactive with my time, and I have a Kickstarter to promote this book now. So things work out. You just got to be sort of laser focused, and I think you're allowed to have shit days.
Yeah.
It's just at a certain point, you can't have it like shit days all the time, because then you're never going to be productive. But you can allow yourself one sort of day to mentally check out, and like surprisingly enough, that fuels the engine again. So I recommend taking time for sure.
All
right,
feel like...
Finn and Jake.
That's brilliant.
What
do you
else
feel
you
like
got?
you've exercised your demons by doing this book then as well? Do you think it's like not just another thing out into the world, but do you think you've like, do you feel personally yourself like you've fixed yourself a little bit by doing that then?
I wouldn't say fix myself. I would say it was a good, like, when I was thinking about launching a Kickstarter, basically a month after my wife and I had a child, thought I was insane. But really, it was a way to stay creative because I knew how much my life was going to change.
Yeah.
And people who have kids love to tell you like shit that's like, oh, you're tired now, wait till blah blah blah. And like we knew it was going to be hard, and we knew it was going to be challenging, but we also knew it was going to be very rewarding and life fulfilling. And so I wanted to kind of maintain that sort of life fulfillment in another aspect, in a creative aspect. And so having put this out digitally for my patrons, I felt like this was something that I wanted to share. And it's not really like fixing myself or like a rebirth. It's just like maintaining that idea that I am a creative person and I can do stuff no matter how much my life changes. So it was kind of like the pushback against. I mean, really, it was kind of like a pushback against the idea of like COVID depression and like just being a shut-in. It's like, now that things were getting better, but now they're getting bad again. But like, it was a way to like sort of be like my way of things are getting back to normal, quote unquote, in terms of creative output. So that's how that kind of happened. But yeah, it definitely helped me for sure. Totally. And like, it's exciting. I wasn't like, honestly too, like I hit the launch button and I was like, if this doesn't get funded, I was totally okay with it because I already did it. I finished it.
Yeah.
It was a matter of like wanting to share it with other people more than just like the 15, 16, whatever, how many patrons I have following me. I was like, this is a cool book. I think it'd be fun if more people saw it. So, I did the logistics of it, and I was like, okay, cool. If no one ever fucking sees it, that's fine. At least I know that I finished something.
Yeah. And the benefit of Kickstarter is you're getting people involved in it as well. They'll feel connected. They'll feel like they've helped the journey. So that's the cool thing about having it already done as well. They know it's there to be made. It's just about helping you get it made. Take the little steps, and obviously get the extras. Sure. Oh, that's really cool. No, and I like that positive mental attitude as well. I mean,
Thanks.
I'm not usually the most positive.
No.
Just mental. I'm a realist, but I'm a realist, so I kind of bounce between. I'm almost manic. I bounce between negativity and positivity, like
when
ping pong ball.
When are you positive?
I'm always positive, Ricky. Just when you're not around. I'm more realistic. I keep my positivity under wraps usually. I don't like.
Okay, that's. I mean, I get that. Yeah. No, I understand that. And what my response to that, Adam, is what I'll say is this is something I've learned over the course of the last 18 months, and it's that the glass is always half full. And to remind myself of that every time, then it makes me, it helps me get out of that rut of thinking like, things suck. But if the glass is always half full, that's my opportunity to fill it all the way.
I'm more of a sarcastic realist. I always go, the glass is only half full if you've only filled it halfway, and if it's half empty, who's drunk from my glass?
So
yeah, see, that makes my head hurt.
So we have got another suggestion of He-Man.
Yeah. He-Man. Oh, did you guys watch the new show?
I did. I really enjoyed it, and I've told Adam to watch it, and he keeps telling me I haven't watched it yet.
No, I have watched it. I've only watched 2 episodes. I was
it
trying
flies
to see
by
if
fast.
Yeah, I wanted to see if my daughter wanted to watch it with me, but we've been watching other shows instead. So I'm gonna get through it.
Yeah, I dig it.
So I know it's a really simple thing. I like the animation because a lot of shows, a lot of Western shows now seem to be animated shows seem to be made by the same 1 or 2 animation studios. This might be, but it feels a little bit better. Like the frame rate is a little bit better.
For sure.
I don't know. I like the DC animated movies, but I feel like they I don't know. Sometimes there seems to be a little few corners cut.
Yeah.
So I do like the He-Man animation.
Yeah, the animation for it was really good. But I really enjoyed it as well. I honestly couldn't see why there was so much backlash, because.
There was? Oh yeah, there was. You're right.
Yeah.
Because people. I don't know. People like to shit on stuff.
I know.
And you know why? It's because they think the glass is half empty.
Who's been drinking from their glass?
No, it's not that. It's their collector's glass, and why should you touch their glass and fill it with different things than it should be filled with? It should only be Coke. It shouldn't be Coke Zero. It shouldn't be Sprite. And why are you touching my glass? That's how
right.
I think.
Exactly.
But
the glass analogy.
It's weird because I've actually more along the lines of I've taken it from Kevin Smith. I think like on our old podcast we would shit on things, but I tend to have taken from the Kevin Smith philosophy of don't waste your time on things you don't like.
Right. Yeah. If you don't like it, it's not for you. Then okay.
And it's just, if you don't like it, it's not for you, move on. Don't waste your time on it. And like when people say, "Oh, it ruined my childhood," you know what? That 80s one was still there, and you could go back to it. And but like
yeah, exactly. And honestly, I think that was part of the huge contention too, because it was Kevin Smith who did it, and a lot of people, not for nothing, a lot of people don't like that guy. They think his movies are trash and the stuff he makes is trash, and he even will tell you that the stuff he makes is trash. And I think that's kind of part of it. I personally, he's like my favorite director, and I know that his movies are not all that great, but I like the dude because he's very relatable, and he's just like he wants to make stuff with his friends, and I don't know. He has qualities as a creative that I relate to. So, so even if he didn't make the He-Man show, I still think the He-Man show is really good. I like what they were doing with it, and the animation is awesome. So.
So El Diabito in the chat has said if you did like He-Man, watch Castlevania because it's the same animation studio, I think.
Animation House?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's Powerhouse, right?
Yeah, Powerhouse. I think it is the same animation, but we don't want to plug Castlevania at the moment though.
Season 4 onwards and a spin-off, perhaps.
Yeah.
No, Castlevania is good. What was I going to say about that? Oh, you're saying about Kevin Smith was funny. I mean, some people dump on Smith's films, but he has a much more consistent. Rick will obviously be happy when I say this. Is like he knows I feel this way anyway. But he has a lot more consistent filmmaking skills, a style than some others who are lauded. Some people who are praised for their work, and you watch their
Oh
films and you
yeah,
think they feel a little bit samey. I'm not going to name names because people are allowed to make movies, but we went to see the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and I thought it was lovely. It was
yeah.
sweet. It was a love story to the characters he created, and he
Oh,
got to get his
totally.
friends in the movie as well, which is really nice.
Yeah,
Um,
that Ben Affleck scene was
Oh, I know.
cherry on the top. Like I cried. I was like, oh man, they're back together. This is nuts.
what I
And
really like was, sorry, go on.
he kept trying to make a Batman joke.
Yes. I really liked the bit at the end where they used Pearl Jam's daughter and they're hanging outside the
Mm-hmm.
store. I just thought it was really poignant.
Yeah, and
So
he's making a Clerks 3. So,
yeah,
and I love trilogies, so I'm excited. So
Yeah, I mean,
that guy is. I don't think he'll ever make a bad thing, in my opinion, just because of the way he carries himself as a creative. That's something I admire. So
yeah, and we spoke about it last time, and you did share the art that I took that I said I saw of yours years ago. So that I'm a big fan as well. So of
yeah.
him. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things. It's it's I know a lot of people don't like him, but yeah, that's it. I
Don't
like
don't
I
get
like
it
what
at all.
yeah. It's just one of those things. But and
yeah.
I but I the even if it wasn't him, I really liked I know the other one was Shira, and that got so much hate as well for being progressive and
Mm.
Oh yeah,
inclusive. Uh,
right.
and that's not Kevin Smith, but I love that people go, oh, it's too woke. I got really wound up at the release of it because, and I
Oh, did you?
broke my rule because I was just everywhere I was looking, no matter if I wasn't looking for the information, I was just
I
seeing
know.
criticism of it, and there was this one
Yeah.
guy who went, "Oh, they've made it so woke," and I went onto YouTube, and
Mhm.
I typed in He-Man morals from back in the 80s one, the Filmation one, and
Yeah.
I replied with, "Oh my God, I can't believe the show from 40 years ago has become." Is trying to be good for children and telling morals. You do realise that they put these at the end of every episode back in Filmation's
Yep.
day, and it's like
Right.
all the He-Man going, "Today, Stratos took some potion to make him better, but drugs are bad, kid. Don't take drugs." And it's like, how
I
much?
know, right?
So,
Yeah.
is that not woke?
I know, right?
Same with G.I. Joe. I mean, they did the exact same thing with that. And I bet if they remade the show now, they'd change things up
Yeah.
and they'd leave that out. People still be angry that they somehow changed the show, and you'd still have to remind them of learning is half. That was knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. Go Joe.
but
Go Joe.
but yeah,
Or
it's just
we had
one of those
action
weird
hero, yeah.
things. We've got on our high horse now.
I know. That's okay. I mean, I like talking nerdy stuff with people.
One of the best times we had at the cinema was we went to talk about Kevin Smith again. We went to see Red State, and there were 5 people
Yeah.
in the cinema, including it was me and Ricky, two other guys, and this one guy sitting right behind us. And it was the best because you could tell people in the cinema, those 5 people, including us, were Kevin Smith fans. So, and
Oh,
we were all
good.
sat further enough apart that even in the quiet bits, we were nattering to each other, and we knew that we weren't disrupting the other people. So,
Yeah. That's a
that was a
good
great
viewing
57.
experience.
And
So,
I think especially with that film, it was what he did at Sundance got it the hate rather than the
Oh,
movie
yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Rather than
And
the movie itself, the movie isn't as bad as people made out.
I enjoyed it. I was like,
Oh,
whoa, he made this?
yeah, that's what I was like, and Michael Parks in it was outstanding.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. R.I.P. Michael Parks. Yeah, he was
Mm.
great. I had an opposite of experience with Tusk.
Yeah.
There was like 7 people in the theater, and 3 of them, or no, I'm sorry, there were like, let's see. Yeah, there was like 6 people in the theater maybe, and like 2 of them were a couple, and like the rest were my friends, and we were watching this. We were watching this at a convention, and that first viewing experience, if you've seen Tusk, that first viewing experience was like, what is happening? And the best part was the girl that was with the guy at the end of the movie got up all pissed and was like, why did you make me watch that? And left. And I was just sitting there like, this movie's incredible. I mean, I didn't think that at the time. I actually thought the movie was too weird. But then I went back. I watched it a second time, and I was like, I think I like this, but I don't know why. But the very first viewing, I was very put off by it. I was like, that was so weird. But then, I don't know, I just kept watching it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I think I like this. So, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
it was just like, what did I just watch?
The only thing that put me off with that was the prosthetics. I actually like the film, but I don't think I can watch it again because the prosthetics spoiled it for me. I picked it up on DVD.
Yeah, my wife was like, that has ruined walruses for me forever. And I was like, well, when are you ever gonna look at a walrus? You're not.
When are you gonna look at the game?
So here's a nice. I have the power here. Crayons are fun, guys. You guys should draw with crayons more.
Dude,
that is my PSA for crayons. You get a lot of like really good texture out of them, and you can blend really well. Okay. Anyways, anything else?
I've got one.
Fun.
I've been waiting actually. Galactus.
Oh, Galactus! That's awesome. Okay.
You got a purple crayon there?
Yeah, as soon as I saw you with crayons, I was like, ooh, purple crayon.
Yeah.
I like
totally.
I like really oily pastels. Oily. Not pastels, but oily crayons.
Yeah. That's cool.
Pastels
I don't
are
think
cool
I've ever
well.
played with those.
They're really cool. I've only dabbled with them in college, but they especially when you got all sorts of stuff to thin them out or just to blend them, they're really cool to mess with.
Nice. Okay. One Galactus coming right up.
Super.
So but yeah, because it's nuts because last time you were like going away with your watercolors, and now you're oh, is he frozen? Oh no, your hand was still. Going with your watercolors, and this time it's the crayons, and it still looks amazing. So like,
thank
it
you.
just shows how versatile you are.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like playing around with different things. I haven't actually tried acrylic yet, and that was the one thing I was like, I'm going to learn how to paint during the pandemic, and then I didn't do that. So that's still on my list.
Acrylics are you think they might be kind of tricky because they're plastic based, but there's a dark art to watering them down. You can still thin them down if you know how.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
I painted this in lockdown.
Oh, heck yeah.
So,
that's cool.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things of, like, trying to do stuff and ended up doing more and more stuff and then just not getting anywhere with it because, like, I've got, like, half-painted things everywhere now instead.
The last thing I finished painting was I sort of finished MODOK, and I also finished that tiny hero clicks of Wolverine.
Right on.
Was more, but then it was needed.
So, where do you plan to take Thump after Two Hearts?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I do. Me putting Thump in the video was kind of my way of just putting Thump on video because when I was, when I would do conventions and stuff, I would take him with me and I would interview artists with him for a show I did on YouTube. If you follow me on YouTube, you can see the show. It's called Art to Heart. And I basically talk to different creatives and ask them about their creative process, but the entire time they're talking to Thump. And I got to interview some pretty cool people, and like Justin Stewart and Tressa. Tressa was, I think, the first episode. But I have Thump and I haven't used them, and I didn't get to use them during quarantine. I mean, I think I filmed 2 episodes via Zoom, and it just wasn't the same. So, as far as taking Thump somewhere next, I'm not really sure. He just kind of hangs out, and I'm sure he's upset that I just keep using him for ideas. But I put him actually in 3 projects last year because I put out my very first Patreon project, which was called Couch. Here I can show you the image for that, but it was basically sort of a love letter to living with my wife, because we it was celebrating an anniversary of how long we lived together, and so it was this was the first Patreon project I did, and they were all images shot from the same perspective of the couch, and it's just basically about Thump and LB moving in together and sort of learning how to live together while sitting on the couch, and all the images sort of look like. See if I have them here. So yeah, all the images sort of look like this, where they're shooting shot from sort of the back of the TV, looking at the couch, and it's all these little sort of one-panel comics of stuff that happens, and so there's a variety of different things I did, and so I did that, and then I put him in the coloring book I made for quarantine, and then I put him in 2 Hearts. So I'm sure he needs a break. But as far as the next project goes, it hasn't come to me yet. But I like that I can always depend on him when I'm I need an idea, and then I just borrow from his life.
I'm surprised he didn't make a few cameos in the Murder Balloon.
Yeah, I think if you look carefully, there might be someone wearing a Thump shirt.
Cool.
But that's you'll have to look real carefully for that. But yeah, that's I think 2 Hearts will be it for now until I come up with something fun. So
sure.
We'll see.
Baby will give you lots of ideas, and the new family dynamic, I guess, as well.
Yeah, that actually might end up being the case. I didn't want to be one of those dads that's I'm going to put my kid in crap and make money off her. But I've been taking notes, and I don't know, maybe it'll turn into something, maybe it won't, but it's just been fun sort of being inspired by what she does.
Yeah, I think they're a font. I was going to say fountain, and a font of ideas. I remember kids will say weird things, and they'll say funny. They say awkward things sometimes, really awkward things that you can't avoid. But sometimes they'll say stuff, and you're just that just came from another place. I remember my daughter was 5 or 6, and I was walking her home, and I lived at the bottom of this hill, and her mum lived on the other side, and it was 6 o'clock in the evening, winter, and it was dark. It was really clear, and the moon was out, and I was explaining to her about how we know we've been on the moon because there are mirrors up there, and you can bounce lasers back and forth to measure the distance. And she was on my shoulders. She was deadly quiet, and I knew she hadn't fallen asleep because she hadn't flopped over or anything like that. And I was like, "Non." Her name's Veronica. We call her Nonny or Non. And
nice.
I was like, "Non, you awake?" And I was squeezing her knees, and she went with no emotion in her voice at all. She just went, "I'm not Veronica." And I went, and you get that chill up your neck because it was just so out of character. And I was like, oh, okay. And I couldn't see her face either. And I went, "Oh, who are you then?" And I do not know where she came up with this name at all. She said, "I'm Mr." Not even Miss or Mrs. It was, "I'm Mr. Tertulia." So I don't know if it's like some
Whoa.
word she'd misheard. And she went, "And I live on the moon." And it was just like, oh, like that. And I wanted to try and get off my shoulders. And I went, "Okay, then, and I was like, "Do you want to come down?" And she locked her knees against my neck and went, "I'm fine where I am," or something like that. And
Oh
she
my
went into
God,
great
that's
detail about how she,
terrifying.
oh, it was horrible. It just made me feel nauseous, Like, I can't, you know, did she get possessed or something? But she, it was like
Oh
she'd
my
say
God.
weird things all the time. And
Yeah.
I started creating characters that we just kind of put to the wayside for now, called the
Okay, I was
Monster
gonna
Kid.
say, are you gonna turn that into something? Because that's
So yeah,
creepy
they
as
were
There
hell.
is comics out there of them.
yeah, we created, me and Pete Taylor and Ricky as well joined in. We started creating characters called the Monster Kids, and it's these twin
Oh, nice.
sisters. They're just human girls,
Yeah.
but they're like, wicked little kids, but ramped up to the next level because they're actually probably homicidal. But
Oh, dude, that's cool.
they live in a monster world, so all their friends are monsters. You got a vampire who's scared of his own shadow, even though he probably doesn't project one. He's scared of death, even though he's undead. He's scared of confined spaces, so he won't sleep in a coffin. He's terrified of blood, and he's such a
Yeah.
bad vampire. He can't even not have a reflection. He's the only person in his family that can be photographed. So,
That's that's hilarious.
but yeah, and then you got a swamp monster kid who has no brain,
Yeah.
and you have a skeleton kid who doesn't even know if he actually exists or not. He goes through existential crises all the time. It all stemmed from the fact my daughter would say bizarre things, and
Yeah. That's true.
um,
I'm glad you stuck it out and just didn't like throw her off your shoulders and go demon baby and like run away, because that's
I'm
probably
just
what
gonna
I would
start a
have
new
done.
family.
Yeah.
I'm done with this
'Cause
one. This is
yeah, that's
broken.
terrifying. Oh man,
She's
that's
say all sorts
crazy.
of weird stuff. But
S-
you got that to come.
Sam in the chat.
Great.
Sam has jumped in the chat and said, "Congratulations on the new arrival."
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it, and thanks for the follow and stuff too. I appreciate that as well.
What's baby's name?
So her name is Marty Jones.
Nice.
Yeah, that's her first. That's her first name. She's got two first names. So
Marty is in Mardie.
yes,
Cool.
Mardie. Yeah.
That's kind of like Adam, so you're on the right track as well. Similar lettering.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, Marty Jones. She's cool. I like her a lot.
Good. Just in the house, and you turn to the wife and go, "I think I know who I like in the house now. I know there's definitely
Yeah,
hierarchy."
yeah. It's yeah. I guess I'll tell the secret origin of her name because
Okay.
I've said it to so many people. But originally, and my wife will deny it to this day because she's like, she doesn't want her daughter named after weird pop culture crap. But she is. In my mind, she is. But my initial name was Jones. I thought it'd be cool to have a daughter named Jones or even a boy named Jones. I thought Jones was a cool name for a kid.
Yeah.
Just straight up Jones. And I didn't tell her why I wanted Jones, and she's like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool." So then she was like, "Okay," and she's like, "Well, why is?" She thought like, because I'm a huge fan of the Ninja Turtles, she thought like, oh, like Casey Jones,
Casey Jones.
Indiana, which a lot of people assume. They think Indiana Jones or even Jessica Jones because she's a girl and stuff.
Mm.
And I said, no, she's actually named after Jonesy. She was like, who's Jonesy? I'm like, Jonesy's the cat in Aliens.
Yep.
That's the only living soul that Ripley saves besides her own.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, no. She was like, hardcore veto. She's like, Vito. I was like, okay, fine. And so Jones went away, and then so then she was coming up with names, and she's like, what about Marty? And I said, I was like, oh, I like Marty. She's like, yeah, I knew a girl in high school named Marty. I think that's a really unique name. And I guess she had like pregnancy brain or something, because she didn't correlate that Marty sounded like Marty McFly, which happens to be like my favorite character from a movie, because Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time. So she was very surprised that I agreed to it. She was like, oh, okay. And I don't think she put two and two together that Marty sounded like Marty.
Especially the way Christopher Lloyd says it.
Marty.
Yeah. And so there was part of the, I think about halfway through the pregnancy, I was like, hey, what about for the middle name, call her Jones? And she was like, this again? And then she's like, do you want? Because so my wife kept her name. She has her name, and I have my wife's name. So we were like debating, like, well, do you want her to have a hyphenate last name? And my last name is Castaneda. It's very long, so you attach a second name to that, and it's like, oh, that's a lot of letters. So I said, well, you know what they do in my family is the maiden name is usually the middle name. So I said, why don't we make your name her middle name, your maiden name, her middle name, and then her last name can be my last name, and then why don't we just attach Jones to Marty? And for some reason we thought that made more sense, but it's still four names, no matter where the placement is. But like, to be honest with you, like Marty Jones just kind of rolls off the tongue, and she said, yeah, let's call her Marty Jones. She's like, I'm not going to actually call her that because I'll probably just call her Marty.
Or
and I was
MJ.
like, you could call her MJ, or you could call her Marty. Like you could say her full name when she's in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then it kind of stuck, and we knew for a long time that her name was going to be Marty Jones. Now the weird, kind of funny and ironic thing about it is the night before she went into labor, I read on Twitter that the 35th or 36th anniversary of Back to the Future was July 3rd. And she was already past her due date. Her due date was June 29th, and she didn't show up. So we're like, oh, man. And we were like, we don't want a 4th of July baby. Please, let's not have a 4th of July baby. So then I read that thing on Twitter because she was like, okay. She's like, I think something's happening, but I don't know. I said, all right. And then I was like, hey, I read this funny fact that tomorrow, July 3rd, is the 36th anniversary of Back to the Future. I said, how fucking funny would that be that she'd be born on July 3rd, and her name's Marty. And then sure enough, her water broke that night, and 8 hours later she arrived. And I was like, dang. And I think she knew. She probably heard me say that, and she was like, I'm going to wait. So that's kind of how she, that was the story of how she was born, but like that's also kind of the story of how the name stuck. So then she was like, oh my God, and she didn't know that it was, she was like, no, everyone's going to think that she was named after a Back to the Future character. And knowing that that's your favorite movie, like that's what everyone's just going to assume. And the real truth of it is, it was just pure coincidence, but it just kind of happened. So
good story to tell, though.
What's up?
That's a good story to tell, though. I mean.
Oh yeah, for sure. So so ever since she was born and people have gotten to meet her, that's like usually the first or second question of like, so.
You could always change it up every time.
So is it because of Back to the Future? And she's like, no, it was just a coincidence. But yeah. But so Marty came from my wife, and it was she knew a girl by that name, and Jones came from the Cat and Alien. But she will never. She will always deny it.
You can imagine in
So
in 18 years or so, your daughter's going to be asked by a friend, "Oh, why, oh, it's some old movie I've never seen, or something some of my mum and my dad keep telling me to watch, and I just apparently something
I
to do with
know.
Back to the Future or something like that," and you're
or
going to be like,
they'll
"How?"
eventually reboot Back to the Future, and the
Oh, please
character will
do
be
not.
Marty instead of
Yes,
Marty.
yes.
Yeah, right. That would be kind of cool, but I hope. I mean, it's in Bob Zemeckis' contract that they don't reboot that movie ever. So
And that should be how it
as long as
stays.
he's alive,
Yeah.
is the stipulation. All right, I'm gonna
Of
throw
course,
in a Silver Surfer here.
unless they do, unless they can do time travel for real.
Yeah, right.
That's the only time they should actually remake it.
Well, I
Um,
think they missed the trick anyway. The only way they should have ever remade it would have been if they'd remade it like 6 years ago with, and not as a remake, just have it as another sequel where
yeah.
Michael J. Fox is the father in this one properly,
Uh-huh.
with his kid traveling back to 1985. But they've missed that 30-year window, so we don't want to see
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you know what? Telltale Games did a Back to the Future game,
Yeah.
and it was pretty good. I think a lot of people consider that part 4 because they
Yeah,
even
yeah.
got. I think they even got Christopher Lloyd to come back, and Michael J. Fox signed off on it, and because they got a different actor to do Marty's voice, and it's pretty spot on. And
Yeah.
if you ever play that, it's pretty fun. I didn't get very far. I should go back and try and
I had it
finish
on Wii
But
for a little while. It was pretty good.
yeah. All right, we got a Galactus. Anything else? Got a little space here.
Well, we've got one in there, but he's already given you 2 suggestions, so it's Ashley J. Williams, but I've put it up to see if anyone else wants to put up a suggestion, throw it in the thing. But I am tempted to say, seeing as you said there's a little space, it should be Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. There is that.
Yeah, well, we'll give it some time and see what you guys want. But yeah, this is looking fun.
I told my daughter about a funny well, I say funny stories. It involves a lot of death. But about names. There's a habit of sometimes naming people. I'm not sure if it's just in this just in the UK, but naming people. The first name is like an honorific, and the middle name is the proper name. They'd go by the middle name instead. So I was unfortunate to lose in a short space of time my father's father, then my father's mother, and then my uncle, my father's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, we got quite a dark sense of humor. So it was, we didn't welcome it, but we embraced it, And so when I went to my grandfather's funeral, I always knew him as Grandpa, but I knew his name was Arthur, and so they all start handing those little pieces, those little things that they get in the churches, little the things saying what hymns you're going to sing, and right on the front with the crucifix on there was Ben Arthur, and I was like, who? And I look around and I'm like, I'm in the right cremation. But I was like, who? And so I thought, okay, so clearly his name was Ben, but everyone called him Arthur. That was fine. And then unfortunately, that was Christmas time, or just after Christmas time, and just after that, then my grandmother passed away.
Oh man.
And her name was Mary, so I thought. But her name was actually, if I remember correctly, Elizabeth Mary. And then unfortunately, about nearly a year later, my uncle passed away. Uncle Paul passed away.
Yeah.
Only his name wasn't Paul, it was Arthur. No, Ben. No, Arthur, yeah. His name was Arthur Paul. And so I'm driving along with my dad and one of my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
My sister I'm the second eldest of my family, and my sister Tori is
Okay.
one of my father's daughters, and we're driving along, and we're just after the funeral, and I'm going, I have to admit, I didn't know Grandpa's name was Ben. I didn't know Grandma's name was Elizabeth, and I certainly didn't know Uncle Paul's name was Arthur. And my sister went, "It's just like my name." And I went, "Yeah, whatever. Don't josh me." And she went, "My name's Rachel." And I was like, "Yeah, that's just such a pull a name out the air thing." And I was like, "You kidding, right?" And she went, "No, no, my name's Rachel Victoria." And I was like, "What?" Like, and I turned to my father and said, "What's your real name?" The person I've known for most of her life so far is not called Victoria at all.
Oh
Your
my
name was
gosh, that's
Rachel.
crazy.
Um,
What have you done, Ricky?
no, my TV's gonna turn off now.
Right.
So I gotta.
So yeah, that was a big revelation. And it's not like my sister's a kid or anything. This didn't happen decades ago. This happened maybe about 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, that's wild.
That was a bit of a rug pull. I do know my father's name was right because he's only 2 letters different to mine.
Okay.
Okay. So there's that at least anyway.
Yeah, so Sam has come back with Ant-Man and the Wasp, or El Diabito with Ashley J. Williams. So we'll let you pick.
Okay. How about, hey, Sam, how about a female character? Let's throw in a female character besides the Wasp. If you can think of someone else. Or I'll just do the Wasp.
I was wondering why Kieran was suggesting, while Diabita was suggesting Ashley from Mass Effect, and then I realized the J makes all the difference.
Yeah. They're making another one of those, aren't they?
What new Mass Effect? Hopefully.
No.
I haven't.
Evil Dead.
Evil
Yes.
Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be a continuation as well.
It's a new movie and a new game, I thought, as well, right?
Yes, I've seen the game. It looks like either like what's it called? Like the Friday the 13th game, or might be like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
You can play characters from the franchise and the TV show.
That was a fun TV show.
Well. Yes, yeah.
Okay, so Sam, the only reason I'm saying no to the Wasp is because I don't think I have the right yellow. I'm looking at my crayons here, and I'm like, where is this? Yeah. So
you're getting Crayola hot for you right there as well.
So she's come back with Catwoman.
Oh, okay, I could do a Catwoman. Does it matter
maybe
which
she's
one?
just describing herself.
Because I feel like, let's see, there's no real theme here, but I could do like, let's do the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman.
Yes.
Because then I can just keep using black. All right, let's do that. I put little word bubbles. So there is a theme. There's little word bubbles. It's all connected. Man, I wonder what I'll do if you guys have me back. Maybe I'll try a different medium.
Oh,
maybe acrylics.
Oh yeah, maybe you could watch me try and paint for the first time on Twitch stream. That would be embarrassing. But I'd do it anyway. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
So, for the people who have just joined us, we've been chatting to Justin about his new Kickstarter, which you can check out at the link in the chat.
Yes, please do. It's a lovely counting book, and it's something that I'm super proud of, and hopefully you dig it. And if you don't have kids, hopefully you get one for yourself anyway, because it's super cool. That was a lame pitch, but I tried.
If you want to see a better pitch from Justin, go to the page, the Kickstarter page, where his character Thump tells you all about it, and it is a really good pitch.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I got digital rewards and physical ones, so if you're worried about like shipping overseas, I got that covered. Or at least I think I do, until I have to ship it, and I'm like, oh no, I miscalculated. But
Maybe
that's
the wife
okay.
will go,
I'm
"We get
willing
another
to.
mortgage."
Yeah. I'm willing to have it get to you any way possible. So
It's
if
one of
you're
those
interested in it.
weird things. One of our friends told us about their Kickstarter. They found someone who provided a service for, like, they've in Britain, and they found someone in America that would help them do the shipping. So rather than getting it printed here and sent out to, and the cost to get it out to you guys in America, it was easier to pay. I think he paid the lady a fee, and he got it printed and sent to her, and she sent it from there, which cut down on the costs massively.
Okay. I should look out for that because I've had one or two people approach me like via Messenger and like saying like they provide services, and I don't like. I'd say 100% of the time I'm just thinking that they're like spam bots or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if they're legit or not, but if that person can vouch for them, then maybe I'll look. But a lot of them seem kind of phony to me.
You just can't tell sometimes, unfortunately. Ricky, you should make the screen bigger
Oh,
so we can see.
there we go. I just clicking on the wrong one. I'm on OBS so that I could see the chat, and I was clicking on the screen, and then
Nothing was happening.
nothing was happening. But yeah, it's Adam's hasn't got a lot going on. He could do it for you. I would, but I hate going to the post office.
I just have to do it for my job.
Yeah, right.
I was a nightclub photographer years and years and years ago, so I'd be up until about 3 or 4 in the morning, and then the next morning I have to get up crack of dawn and take bags full of cash to a really dodgy post office, and
that sounds
on a really rough street, and it would just be wads of cash in my pockets.
That sounds like a Guy Ritchie movie.
Cat butt. Can you butt out of my way, please?
Yeah, it sounds like the bit in Snatch where they go to the illegal bookies.
Right? That's what it sounded like to me.
It does. Now that you said that, it's like, yeah, it sounds exactly like that bit.
Are you secretly Jason Statham, Adam?
I've got the hairline for it. But my martial arts skills don't really meet the par, unfortunately.
What about your diving skills?
Diving skills, perhaps. Yeah, no, yeah, I can do well underwater. I can't just stay on top of water. Unfortunately, I think I was a lot thinner back in the day last time I went swimming, so maybe now I'm a little bit rounder. I might do better on top of water. Yeah, I don't think I can do his diving stuff though. I did watch The Meg, actually. Talking about bad films, that film is really bad but really enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. I wish they decided early on what that movie was going to be, because I think Jason Statham knew the kind of movie he was making, and everyone else was like, "No, let's give him a romantic lead, and let's make it PG-13 so that kids could see it." And it's like, it's about a giant prehistoric shark. Like, make it rated R. Like, make them eat babies and stuff. Like, what are you doing?
Sock's in the chat as well now, saying it's an effing megalodon. But yeah, it's one of those weird ones, isn't it? It's like, because they name him for that audience, it's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
No, and like, it has like a big like it's weird. It has like a lot of elements where it was like filmed in China, and like I think they're trying to get some of that like Chinese like international money, so they have Asian American actors in the movie, and like they were at like this beach that was like just occupied with dozens and dozens of like extras that were like Asian American, and I was like, what is the purpose of it? Like, are you gonna? Are they? And then the giant prehistoric shark doesn't eat any of them. Like
No!
swims underneath.
Is that Justin what you want in your movies? Is for Asians to be eaten by sharks? Are you?
No, but he's right. He's right. It's like, in Jaws, if the Kidna kid hadn't been eaten, they play up that bit with the little chubby kid going into the water, and then the shark just swims right past him and takes one of the diving platform for a little bit of a tow.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the movie never went full tilt, right?
No.
There was the one scene. There was the one scene where there were like 2 or 3 helicopters, like hovering above the water, and you're just sitting there like, oh man, the megalodon's gonna jump out, fucking air jaws, right? Air jaws, and like chomp on the helicopter, and it didn't happen. They like flew away, and you're like, I felt like that was a missed opportunity there. So I felt like they were holding back on some things because they were trying to keep it PG, and it was a missed opportunity. But that being said, it was still a kind of a fun movie.
Yeah.
They
did do the movie twice over, of course, as well, with like the rescue at the beginning and then the rescue halfway through, and then kind of a smaller rescue at the end as well.
Yeah. See if this white will work on here.
Sorry, I've got to step away. My cat's just got a claw. No, it's good. She's freed herself. She's had a claw just randomly stuck in something on the wall. Then.
So like, I think that kind of the opposite. I've seen stuff today, I think it was, where people have been, criticizing the fact that the new Suicide Squad went for the hard R because they're like, oh, it hasn't made as much money as the previous one, and it's probably because of the hard R. And it's like, no, that movie needs to be that, because I went to watch it last weekend, and it gave me exactly what I wanted to see from it. It was fun.
It was fun. It was that. I mean, it honestly, like, and I saw someone post this on, of all places, Twitter, because why not, right? No, but I saw someone post that, like, it kind of, like, the movie is kind of building upon what they already established in Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
And, like, Birds of Prey was a hard R, and I don't think people realized that in the beginning. And then James Gunn took his version of Suicide Squad, kind of turned it up to 11, and I feel like in that sense it's successful, but I'm not a studio exec, so I don't know if it is or not, because all they care about is
bottom line,
the dollar bills. Yeah, the bottom line, exactly. All they are is Stone Cold Steve Austin. They just want to know what the bottom line is, and but I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done.
I'll probably miss it in cinema, unfortunately. I need to wait now until it comes out on Blu-ray or something.
So
if you can pony up the HBO, do you have got HBO Max over there?
No, we don't.
No,
not yet. Anyway.
Oh, that's some bullshit, dude. You got because that's how I saw it. I didn't go out. I got to watch it on HBO Max. Oh man, that's a shame. You guys should get HBO Max. What the hell?
I know.
That's bogus.
It's weird to think like that we get like now. I mean, used to get things not so much cinema because the worldwide releases are changing, but like TV shows over here would take ages to get over here. I mean, I think I caught Next Generation probably. I don't know when it was really. It's probably not the same year that it came out on TV in America.
Yeah. Wow, Next Generation. You're dating yourself there. I remember back in the day.
Saying that, I remember once asking, and she never answered me. I once asked my mum as well. When I was really small. It's like, was everything in black and white when you were a kid? It's like, I don't know. Doesn't fill me with confidence.
Meanwhile, she's thinking in her head, like, you son of a bee.
But
sure, yeah, sure. We all rode horses.
I walked up and walked 10 miles in the snow each way, uphill.
Mm-hmm.
I never walked 10 miles, but I once actually did walk in a snowstorm for my mum. Me and my older sister walked to a neighbor's house. We got lost. It was only like 2 streets away, and we got lost because it was just. I did live in a tiny, tiny village up in the hills, and it was just.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't pleasant.
I don't think Adam realizes that he's talking to someone from Chicago, and when we get snow, we get 2 millimeters and everything shuts down.
This is in, no, this was in the valleys. So this was in
Okay.
Pont, place where I was raised as a kid, and it was
We had
probably
4 millimeters.
no, it was the early 90s, and I don't know what big storm it was, but it was like up to my knees, up to maybe even further up, and it was just like blanketed.
Oh man, yeah.
I think we went to get cigarettes from my mum's friends.
That's
a
funny
worthy reason to send your kid out into the snow.
Right? Yeah, that's so funny you bring that up, Ricky, because when I did the Lexington Con in Kentucky, I stayed with my friend Tressa, and I think it was for that show, but they got snow, and it was like the world shut down. They were just like, oh my God, we got snow, I'm calling off work, and all this other stuff. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go home. And I drove 8 hours back to Chicago like it was nothing because I'm so used to it,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's winters everywhere else, and then there's Chicago.
Like a couple of years ago, it was in Chicago where they were showing people throwing out like water, and it was turning twice in the air, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's it over here. Like we get one snowflake, and everywhere is sold out of bread and milk.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh man, that is wild.
Well, one thing we can't deal with over here is heat because our houses are all brick. 2 layers of brick usually. I mean, I live in a terrace row, and it's just it's been pleasant enough because my house is on a hill, so it is gets direct sunlight, but it's just heat constantly instead, but not too much heat, fortunately. Just open the windows, but you can't get rid of the heat. You have the fans on, it just doesn't shift it. So we don't do heat very well.
Okay. All right, here you go. The final piece of the puzzle. Let me move it over here. All right, hey, this was a good afternoon of drawing. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it was nice chat. Nice chat, even though we went all over the place. Sock mentioned that it was snowing the year he went, and he said the sea was frozen flying into Chicago. I guess he means the lake, but
yeah. Lake, sea, tomato. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. I mean, it looks really cool if you could ever get down there when it's like below zero, because it's the water, like the ice, the water freezes in clumps, and you have this weird looking it's like a sea of glaciers, and like they're all clashing together, and it's pretty cool to see. But it is cold, really cold, like cold AF, like Mr. Freeze, bad puns, Batman and Robin cold, like it's awful. But yeah, if you ever get a chance. Oh, and that's the other thing too. And then Tressa came for like a little getaway. Her and her husband, and they came during the winter time, and it was like freezing, and like we were walking around, and then we went to the grocery store to buy some food that we were going to make that night, and the cashier, I guess we bought liquor or something because the cashier asked for her ID, and then it was like, oh, you're from Kentucky, and she's like, yeah, we're visiting my friends. We're doing like a mini vacation. We came to Chicago, and like the cashier was like, why? Like, why did you come here in the worst possible time ever? And yeah, Yeah, it gets real crazy here. I mean, sometimes it'll snow like well into like March and April, just random days, and it's like, oh, this is awful. But anyways, that is enough of weather chat with Ricky and Adam.
Thank you so much for coming on. Sokka's got a question before we let you go.
Yeah, go for
His
it.
question for Justin is, are you a hat size smaller now you've chopped off your locks?
Oh, yeah. I did get a massive haircut because I let it grow throughout the pandemic and then throughout the pregnancy, and I was like, okay, if Marty Jones comes out healthy and there are no issues, that'll be a reason to get my hair cut, like a celebration of new life with a new do. And yeah, I chopped it off, and I surprisingly look the same. I still look. I don't look taller. I don't look skinnier. I just look like, I did when I was in high school. But I almost had a moment where I wasn't going to get it cut, because as soon as I stepped out of the car to go get my hair cut, a gust of wind blew right through it, and I was like, wow, this is what Fabio must feel like, or Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, it was just like blowing through my hair, and I'm like, oh, am I in a Maybelline commercial right now? This is nuts. But I still went and got it cut. Cause
I just want to say this hurts my feelings.
Did you want to get a saxophone?
Yeah, saxophone, like slick down my body, play on a pier. Yeah. But no, I'm not taller. Was that his question? I'm sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, you just said if your hat size was smaller.
Oh, my hat size! I didn't wear any hats while I had my long hair. But the first time I put a hat on, after my haircut, I felt like myself again, which was good. So,
so
backwards cap and everything.
Okay, so we're gonna start wrapping things up. Justin came on specifically to talk about Two Hearts, a lovely colouring book. The Kickstarter is live now. The link is in the chat. We did go on a bit of a geek tangent, but it's been a fun chat. So if you want to learn about where he got his baby's name from, you can check this out on YouTube later on. But
we went all kinds of places.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Kevin Smith, He-Man.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna have to try and chop out a bit where we just raving about Kevin Smith and send it to him on Twitter to see if we could get him to maybe come to a Comic-Con next year.
Oh, that would be kind of cool. That'd be really sweet. You got if he's coming that year, you gotta get me out there. I'll be like, I was yapping about your damn show the whole time. I should have been promoting my Kickstarter. I need to be in the same room as you. But
you owe me.
What's up? Yeah, exactly. You owe me.
We won't send him this bit.
Yeah. I'm like, put that penis on a sandwich. I probably shouldn't have said that while I'm promoting a children's book.
As long as you're not promoting it directly to kids, it's fine.
No. It's that. Yeah, we'll let's do like a 2-second pause. Okay. So yes, my book is called It's a lovely counting book, and it is live now on Kickstarter. We just unlocked the first stretch goal, which means that every backer gets a bonus book, which is the Keep Your Heart Safe coloring book that I did in quarantine, which will be getting additional pages for the print version. And then we are, I think, less than 2,000 away from unlocking the board book upgrade. So if you want your copy of Two Hearts to be a true board book, we have to get to that 3,500 goal. And we're well on our way. This is the second week. We've already knocked down 1,500 of the for the first stretch goal, and we're just trying to get to the other side of it. So thank you for letting me come on here, promote the show, and for letting me promote the show, but promote the Kickstarter, and for letting me draw again. This was fun.
Thank you for helping us promote the show.
Yeah, no problem.
The crayons He-Man is probably my favorite of the ones today, but they're all bloody great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I brought a bunch of stuff. Like I even brought markers, but as soon as the mention of Finn and Jake, I was like, oh, we got to do this whole thing in crayon. So if I do come back, if you do have me back, I will definitely have a different medium, and then this will be like a whole series of like, what does he draw with now? It's crazy.
If we have you on too long, though, it'll be things like, the only thing we're left is either poop
abstract.
or blood.
Yeah. It's like poop or blood. Oh, and I have an abundance of that because I have a baby.
Hopefully the poop, not the blood. Otherwise,
not the blood. No. I'll have to tap a vampire for that. But yeah, maybe we'll do something else. I have like markers and whatever. But I mean, that's only if you guys want me back.
Oh, we'd love to.
Always want you back, man. Always want you back.
But yeah, again, thanks for letting me come on here and shoot the shit and talk about Two Hearts, a lovely counting book. So appreciate it.
So make sure you go and support the book. You can follow Justin, I suggest, on Instagram as When You Were Little, because you'll see all of the awesome stuff he does for Two Hearts, and also his cardboard drawings, which are always great. You can follow us on all the socials, Swansea Comic and Gaming Convention. We would appreciate some YouTube love, because then we can be YouTube/SCGC. But other than that, we'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you so much for giving us your time again, Justin, and we'd love to have you back on at some point.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
So long.